Hey guys, it's Haadi from Restless, and recently I had the opportunity to sit down with Max Castellanos. As you can see, I'm wearing his t-shirt right now, and me and Max had a great conversation. The guy is truly inspirational. We talked about his life growing up, becoming a personal trainer, then deciding to become a wrestler, and everything in between that. Also, his path after wrestling. He's still currently wrestling, but he's becoming an author. He is an actor. There's so much going on in his life, and his story is truly inspirational. The way he genuinely wants people to succeed in their life, and he wants people to understand that struggling is just a part of the process. Like his t-shirt says, failure becomes my strength. I don't know why it took me a second to read that, but again, Max Castellanos, big inspiration, one of the most fun and genuine conversations I've had with the wrestler. Be sure to like this episode and hit subscribe if you want more conversation with a bunch of indie wrestlers. I have more on the way already, but I'll upload them even faster if you smash that like button. So thank you guys, and I hope you enjoy. Stay restless. Welcome to the Restless Podcast. Today I have a very special guest with me, none other than Max Castellanos. Max, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to our conversation.
Definitely. Me and Max, I have a little bit of a story. I went to my very first reality of wrestling show on June 10th, and I had never been to a reality wrestling show, so I didn't know what to expect. And I see Ryan Davidson come out, who I've been following his career for a little bit. And then I hear the trumpets and I hear Max Castellanos come out. I see it, and I'm sitting next to a couple girls and they're going wild. I'm like feral. Like they were pretty tame during the whole show, but when Max came out, they were unglued, unhinged. And this match was insane. One of the most hard hitting matches I've ever seen in my life. And Max, after the match was over and after the show was over, I got a chance to see you and speak with you. And your chest was was red as hell after that match, man. Oh my god, what a beating you and Ryan put on each other. And when I did my interview with Moonshine Mantell, he said you were his hardest hitting opponent. Is that why do you hit so hard in every single match, and why do you seem to get hit just as hard back?
I mean, I didn't know I hit that hard. I don't know, man. I'm a physical guy, and I've always been a physical guy. When I started training for wrestling, I'll be honest, I didn't know any better. I didn't understand the business. I didn't know the ins and outs. And over time, you start learning certain stuff. But one thing my trainer Rudy Boy did teach me was you gotta lay it in. You gotta lay it in. Protect the guy, but you still gotta lay it in because the thing is, especially nowadays, people are like, that's fake. That's fake. I want people to leave thinking the opposite when it's my message. Like, damn, dude, these guys kicked their asses. And did you see that shot? Did you see this? The emotion, and that's the reason they're paying for, is take care of the guy, but lay it in. He'll be all right. And same thing, I tell the guy, hey man, lay it in on me. I'll take it. Some guys you don't gotta tell them, like Moonshine, like Ryan. There's some guys that are just they have that in them, and I love that because it's so easy to work with them, and it's so easy to tell the story. It's so easy for people to see the intensity which I believe in today's business it lacks. It lacks the intensity. That's what separates a lot of guys from the rest, and that's something that I always want to keep in my arsenal is to be an intense guy.
And you said you've always been like that. That's just how you were since you started. Have you ever experienced that after a match, a guy will pull you aside, be like, "Bro, you're laying in a little too hard. You need to ease up a little bit." Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I just say, oh well, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I mean, you're not hurt, but you gotta. Is there any right here? Can I cuss or no?
Yeah, man. Feel free to say whatever you want.
I'm like, man, you can't be a bitch. I've never hurt anybody, in my career. As far as accidents do happen, but I'm saying intentionally or because I was being dumb and stuff, I never have. So yeah, I'll chop you, I'll club you in the back, I'll give you a little stiffer. If give me a receipt back, that's fine. But yeah, that's had a couple guys that, look, I don't know. For me, is I just kind of like I don't pay attention to it because I don't know, dude. It's just I've never heard Moonshine complain. I've never heard, I didn't hear Ryan complain. I've never heard these guys that I consider legit complain. And then you have somebody who's like, oh, well, you hit me a little too hard. I just go get my suitcase, change, and go home. I'm not here to sit down and say,
At the end of the day, it's professional wrestling, right?
It is, man. It is, and it's physical. And some guys
Yeah,
they just slap your thigh and don't hit me, just slap your thigh. And I'm not in that group.
definitely. And similarly to Moonshine and Davidson, you guys are very intimidating in the ring. And but outside the ring, I feel like you guys are really genuine, kind people. Again, a little backstory is that that night of the at the ROH show, I helped you with some of your stuff to your car, and you actually gifted me this Max Castellanos T-shirt, this lovely T-shirt. This
That's
has
a
been
good,
my go-to.
that's a good looking T-shirt right there.
It is, and I promote that everyone go and cop this T-shirt. If you're at a at a Max Castellanos show, cop this T-shirt because it's been my go-to gym fit. Like I said, genuinely kind guy. But when you get in the ring, it's almost like a switch flips, and then you go primal, and you're just intense. And you said you've been like that since the beginning of your career. So you said you're trained by Rudy Boy. Is that correct?
Correct. Here in San Antonio, Texas, at
Yeah.
the
So
Texas Wrestling Academy, I started training with him in November of 2015. But at the time, I lived in McAllen, Texas, so I would train with him once a week. So I would drive from McAllen 4 hours, go train with Rudy Boy for about 3 hours, and then that same day drive back. I would get home around 2 in the morning, and there was a few times, not all the times, but there's a few times that since I've been doing personal training since I was 17 years old, is I would have clients at 5 a.m. And I'm the type of person that I hate canceling. I don't like canceling. If I cancel, it's because something serious is going on and I have to cancel, or I'm ill, or somebody passed away. But for me to just I don't feel like it, I'm gonna cancel tomorrow. I hate doing that. So sometimes I would drive back, get home at 2 a.m., and I was still energized, from the training session. And I'm a huge caffeine guy, I'm either drinking coffee, energy drink here and that. So sometimes I had, a couple of rock stars in me, or, bang energy drinks. And I would get home and I said, man, I don't feel like going to sleep. I got 2 hours of sleep. I'll go to the gym. So at the gym I worked at, Gold's Gym, it was a 24-hour gym. And I would just start training, finish at 4:30, shower, and then train my client at 5 a.m. all the way to 11 was my break. Man, by 11, I was already crashing hard. And then I would go home. At the time, I lived with my mom, and would sleep about 2, 3 hours. My second part of the shift would start at 4 p.m. all the way to like 9 or 10 p.m. because I would teach classes into. Wake up, have a big meal, go train the rest of the clients, and repeat it. And then I did that for 6 months. And I remember Rudy Boy put me aside. He's like, "Hey man, how long are you going to be doing this? You got to be training full time if you want to. Because with Rudy Boy's training, there's you got to take a test, and it's a test of basically everything you learned. You pass the test, you get your certificate, and I guess you're considered pro, or I don't know. But for me, it's I needed to pass it. That was my first goal. Is I need to graduate from this academy, and at the same time, is if within a year you don't pass it, you got to start paying again." And I say, I need to pass it, get on the road, start making a name for myself, because I don't like wasting time. I don't like wasting my time. I don't like wasting people's time. And eventually on June 3rd of 2016, I moved to San Antonio and I started training full time. And then I passed my test. The first couple of tries, actually, the first one, I did simple mistakes. And I think, he was just giving me a harder time. That's why he was picking little things. Because when other guys took the test, I was like, hey, man, I did that mistake, but he didn't even see it. So with me, it was like, so the first one, like, yeah, you didn't pass. Why? Because you crossed your feet wrong on a head scissors. I was like, the fuck? I was like, all right. And then the second time I was going and I had actually a small strain in my quad. So I stepped wrong and I strained my quad, so I couldn't finish the last portion. And then the last time I was able to pass it. And then that was around, I would say, August of 2016. So after 3 months of full training, I passed the test. And it's a difficult test, but nothing impossible.
Wow, that's an insane amount of dedication to drive from McAllen to San Antonio back every day for 6 months, and that
Yeah,
schedule
so
you're
so so it
yeah.
was not every day. It was once a week.
Oh, once a
So
week.
once a week. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but still, like, such little sleep, and you're still doing personal training, and you're going to, San Antonio to train. This is insane. But you said you've been doing personal training since you were 17. What made you decide that professional wrestling is something that you do wanna train and you wanna commit to?
So, so personal training is here's a. I'll do a little backstory. In 2008, when I was in eighth grade, I was in athletics, football, basketball, and I hated the weight room. I hated the weight room. I hated the workouts. I hated the smell of the weight room. And during this time, I remember my parents were going through, separation, a divorce, kind of all this. And so my head was just I was a depressed kid around those years between seventh, eighth grade, and freshman year. I was a depressed kid. So I remember I would be like, man, why are we working out? I hate this. Like, I just want to play football. I don't want to put in the work. I just want to, the finished product and stuff. And I ended up going home telling my mom, like, I want to quit this. I don't want to play football. I don't want to do this. I hate working out. I just want to be home. She's like, well, all right, And so she got me out of that, of athletics. Then I started, I would always watch wrestling, but I really started watching wrestling every single day. And I started seeing that these guys just had a physique on them, and, they look a certain way. And when I would see them in person, like at live events or stuff, I was like, man, they just look different. They look different than the average public. Like, they walk in and everybody turns. And I saw a couple guys at a restaurant, at a steakhouse, and I was like, man, that's a wrestler right there. And everybody's like turning. So for some reason, I don't know. I was like, I want to build muscle. I want to get big. I don't know if it's for attention, what it is, but it just that drew me. So in freshman year, I asked my dad. I said, hey, Dad, can you buy me a weight set, bench thing? He's like, wait. He's like, didn't you quit football and basketball because you guys had to work out, but now you want to start working out? I said, yes. He's like, that makes no sense. I'm like, can you just get me that for Christmas? He's like, all right. He's like, so you don't want the PlayStation, nothing? I'm like, no, no, no. I want a weight training bench. So he got me a bench. I won't forget. He took me to Academy. I went around Academy, picked the cheapest one. It was like $89 because I knew my parents were always, low on money. And I've always had that consideration that same thing, like when somebody invites me to go eat, I usually pick the cheapest on the because I'm not that person that freeloader is like, yeah, give me this and I'll take a dessert and I'll take a drink. It's like, dude, come on, man, have some consideration. So I learned that at a young age, and I said, yeah, give me the $89 one. He's like, all right. So the thing came without a bar. We went to the flea market and we bought like all these rusty weights. Brought them in. I started cleaning them. I bought a spray paint bottle. I started, they all look like new. And I started working out in my garage, and I fell in love with it. And here's the thing that's such a learning lesson that later on, as an adult, I understood is sometimes you may be doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, but that's why people quit. So, for example, is I hated football. I didn't like basketball because my mind was so because of what was going on at home that I was at the right place for training and stuff, but I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it for the coach's approval. I was doing it so I could fit in with my friends. And I hated it. Some people come to the gym and they say, hey, I want to start losing weight and I want to work out. And I ask them all the time, okay, why? What's your goal? Oh, because, my husband wants me to lose 30 pounds. It's not sustainable. You're going to quit. Why you say that? Because you're doing it for somebody else. You need to do it for yourself. You need to look yourself in the mirror and say, what is my goal? What is my end state goal that I want to achieve? And that should drive you to go and put in the work at the gym or at the office or whatever you need to do. The goal is what gives you purpose in life. So when I found out, I started watching more wrestling. I said, dude, I want to be a wrestler one day. I want to go to the gym because I got to look a certain way. Now I had a purpose. Now I had, the drive to show up to the gym in my garage when nobody's watching and put in 2-3 hours. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I tell you, I did not know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was eating, but I showed up. And that's the thing that sometimes people want to get it all right. Okay, it's because I need to know what to do. Just show up. Show up, and sooner or later, you're going to understand the game and you're going to know how everything works. I showed up and I said, okay, this is a bench press. I didn't know you had to retract your shoulder blades. I didn't know you gotta, put your feet in a certain position. I didn't know you had to tuck in your elbow. I just grabbed the bar and I started doing push-ups, I started doing curls, I started doing pull-ups. I said, okay, what has protein? Okay, this has protein, soy protein. I remember I was drinking soy protein shakes. Soy is probably the worst thing you can put in your body. I was drinking that because it said protein. I didn't know any better, and I would start going to seminars because bodybuilders would come into town to do like, small expos and seminars. So I would sit there at 14, 15 years old with my journal, listening, being a student of the game. I didn't want to be a bodybuilder, but I wanted to learn because I knew that by doing that type of lifestyle will take me to try to build a good physique that I would be proud of. So ever since a young kid, I've always been a student of life, that I like to study people. I like to listen to people who actually have done something with their life. I want to talk to that guy. I don't want to talk to the guy that is broke but is telling people how to be a millionaire. I don't want to talk to the person who has failed relationships telling you that you should get married. I don't want to talk to the guy that is a deadbeat dad telling me how to be a dad. I'm not a dad, but does that make sense? But we live in a world where people listen to the less qualified and they take their advice and then they wonder why their lives are so fucked up. I don't know. It blows my mind. So I started working out and I said, man, I'm like, I would really like to do this for a living, make some money out of this, stuff like that. And here's the thing, in personal training, man, I think it's a never ending business because you can make as much money as you want to. You pick up clients, you do online coaching, especially now with online. That's where I make the most amount of money. I have clients from all over the states. I have in-person clients, and then I go travel for wrestling. And that allows me to, I'm a certified dietitian, certified trainer, master trainer with NASM for 11 years. So I had the credentials, but I had to earn it. By 18 years old, I entered my first competition, physique competitor. And I placed fourth place in my division. It's not first place because I didn't know how to pose. But all I did was I didn't ask questions. I just got in the best shape I could and I showed up to the competition. That's what I'm saying is I made mistakes, but I was so eager to say, you know what? I have a competition coming up. I got to train abs twice a day. I got to do this. I got to dial down to 4% body fat. And I was able to do that. Eventually, after that, I transitioned to strongman. And I started training strongman. And then I was going to compete, try to qualify for nationals. And that's when I found basically wrestling. And I started wrestling school. And the rest is history, man. So one thing led to the other, but definitely everything revolves around the gym. And I've trained thousands of clients. I've had so many stories from different individuals. But the main thing that connects us all is we need to find a goal. That goal is going to give you purpose. Once you find that purpose, that's going to give you drive. Now you got to put in the work day in, day out, whether you feel like it or not. Where you're sad, mad, angry, happy, motivated, not motivated, you still got to show up. Once you get that to your head, I promise you, the constant motion of moving forward is what's called growth. That's what keeps the motivation alive.
Yeah, it sounds like you're not only a coach in the physical sense, but you do a lot of mental training for your clients as well, getting them in the right headspace to where they want to make the growth in their life. And that obviously comes from your personal experiences in life where you had to decide for yourself, I'm going to be more than who I am. I'm going to just show up and do the work. And you said that these wrestlers kind of their physique, their presence kind of inspired you in a sense. At the time you were watching wrestling, who were some of those guys that you would look at and be like, that's something I want to do?
So I would say for me, wrestling started. First guy when I started watching wrestling in '98 was Steve Austin. Steve Austin, Rock, Triple H. Then after that, it transitioned to like the 2003, 2004. That's when Cena started coming into the scene. He was doing the thugonomic stuff. I remember telling my dad I want a chain and a lock. When he did the doc, he's like, no, he's like, you can't put that around your neck. That's gonna absorb into your blood. Like, that's bad for you. I'm like, yeah, but he does it. He's like, no, 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 he's a dumbass. Don't be doing that. He's like, he's getting paid. You're not. Take that shit. So I couldn't do that. Chris Masters, all these guys, man, then in the mid 2000s. But I would say Cena, man. Cena was the one that really because he would compete bodybuilding and stuff like that. But man, that guy is the genetics on that guy is genetics plays a huge role, man, of the way your muscle is shaped. Not everybody has the muscle bellies to what's it called? Not everybody's created equal. You know, an arm can measure 19 inches, and then you have somebody's arm that measures 17 and a half. But the one in 17 and a half, if it has good proportion and good muscle bellies, is going to look way bigger and better. So it all comes down to genetics. Same thing with height. Some guys, you know, they're born 6'1", and it's like asking, "Hey, how can I be 6'1"? I don't know. Ask my parents.
Definitely. And you've always kind of had a pretty solid physique, because recently you posted on the Instagram that you had your before and after pictures, right, over 10 years. And you had a solid physique, but you didn't have a lot of mass on you. But today, this is a completely different person.
Yeah.
Obviously the beard helps, but you were massive.
The one from today ate the one from back then.
Definitely, that's exactly what it looks like.
What happened? Yeah.
Yeah. So when you started training wrestling and then you passed the test, what was going on the road like? What was booking shows like? Did you find it easy to kind of find tours and dates and to be able to wrestle at different promotions across Texas?
So at first, honestly, Rudy Boy helped me out with getting bookings with different people, and kind of, you know, he would book me to his shows here in San Antonio and around, you know, close to San Antonio. And then here and there, you know, they started seeing my matches and they would book me for a show or two. And it was nothing crazy. I feel when I could feel a difference that started picking up was once I started getting out with Booker up in Row in Reality Wrestling. It gave me more the exposure of TV, and you know, they have a good following and stuff. So different promotions started hitting me up, and then I started going to Louisiana, Mississippi, started going to Arkansas, started coming back to wrestling McAllen, you know, where I was from, Houston, Dallas, you know. Then SWE came into the scene, and me and Moonshine had that badass feud that gave me more exposure. And then I took a small break from wrestling, and then I got back into it, which is, you know, current day now. But slowly, I could tell that every year I've slowly matured into the person I need to be, from the way I walk to the way I talk to the way, you know, my steel chair, to developing my character that makes me me, you know, because I'm not trying to copy anybody else. I'm not trying to. So that's, I think, that's one of the hardest things in wrestling is finding who you are and be genuine, that people, yeah, I like it, I buy it. Because if I'm selling something, I ask myself, would you buy it? And if I say no, then why are you going to sell it? So I truly believe that every year I find more self-discovery, not just through wrestling but in personal life, of who I am, of what I like, what I don't like, and that's just, you know, finding your identity.
And adding to your character in wrestling, you mentioned the chair, right? How did the chair come into play for you? You walk out with the chair every match, and every now and then you get to hit someone with it. So how'd that come into play?
Right. So I said, I had a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I said it. I was like, I had to do like a spot with this guy. I think it was in Corpus, and I saw a steel chair there by the dumpster, and I grabbed it, went out, did the spot, whatever. But I mean, I laid the shot in that everybody's like, "Holy fuck, you killed the guy," whatever. Then after the show, a guy came, he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "if you autograph that," he's like, "I'll give you $100 for it." I said, "All right." So I autographed it. I kept driving home, and I was like, we'll start selling chairs. So got home, I had my logo and stuff, and I, you know, hooked up with different people to be able to bring this to life. As you see behind me, different chairs, different colors. And next thing I know, I started making montage videos, and I started posting on my Instagram. And then eventually I hit it with the slam of, you know, coming soon, Max Castellanos, authentic chair autograph. I'll ship it to you. And in the first day, I sold 21 of them at $100 a piece. So you do the math. And the problem was like, how I'm gonna ship them. Eventually, I found a way to ship them, but at first it was a stressful situation, because I was like, man, I did not just make all this money, and then I got to refund it because the shipping is about $120 for a chair. So I had to find a way, and I was able to find a way. Like I said, I had to think, and I was able to get a shipping for like 10, $13 per chair. Ship them all out, and then I'll take them to different shows and I sell them. And sometimes 3 to 5 chairs per show, and that definitely makes a difference. And that's why for me sometimes is like, hey man, can we like put in the chair there somehow, even if we don't hit the guy, because I'm thinking business right here, you know. And it's worked for me. There's been a couple copycats I've seen out there. That's cool, man. It's I just understand that I was the original that came up with it. I didn't go and say, "Oh, I'm gonna steal his fucking idea and I'm gonna do it myself." I've seen a couple guys on social media and they have their chair now with their logo. I don't know. It's just kind of like I lose
At least
respect
you
for
can
that.
say you were the original. At
Yeah,
least you can
I
say
mean, I
you were
hope
the
I was.
innovator.
I hope I was. Maybe there was somebody out there, but I don't know. That was the experience for me. That say I'm selling this.
Yeah. Immediately when you came out with the chair at the Rose show, I immediately thought of Sean Spears in AEW, who is considered the chairman, right? Maybe he got that from you.
I
Yeah.
just know I did it before him, but that's all I'm gonna say.
All right, Max Castellanos was the first chairman. We'll say that for sure. We spoke a little bit about your time in SWE, and you had that amazing rivalry with Moonshine, right? And in my conversation with Moonshine, he says, "Go check out my matches with Max because they're some of the most hard hitting matches you'll ever see." So I went and I checked it out, and it was completely amazing. And after the Rose show, me and you had that conversation. You said sometimes the chemistry is just natural, and Moonshine was that one guy, you just had this natural chemistry together. Can you speak a little bit on the matches you guys had together and maybe how you met?
I can't recall the exact first time that we met, but I know that he was trained by Rudy Boy too, and he would swing by at the academy where I was training, and we would get in the ring and stuff like that. And this is back in 2017, 2016, so it's a while back. And we had one of our first matches. I believe it was 2017 at a local show here in San Antonio. Good match. We didn't talk much in the back, but very cool. We just clicked. Then we had another match later on. I think it was in what was it? The city before Austin, not New Braunfels, but not Mercedes, San Marcos, Texas. So we had a match there. It was kind of like a bar fight, and it was a very physical fight. There's a few clips of us like chopping and just physical. And people are just drunk. They're having their best time. And then we had more matches, but nobody really put us like a storyline like SWE did. And that is thanks to Kevin Sullivan, thanks to Teddy Long, um, James Beard, and all the crew of those guys. They truly believe in us, and they put us in the first match, and it was here in San Antonio actually. And I put his head by the post, and I smashed it with the chair. And after that, I mean, I remember I had people message me, even workers are like, "Damn, bro, like you fucked them up. What's wrong with you?" I was like, "Oh my god." I said, "I don't know. There's a lot of things wrong with me." So from that thing led to another, and then I started cutting promos on him, and I started doing like this whole rich guy from Mexico with multiple girls sitting by the pool and stuff. And then Moonshine was doing his promos with the neck brace because I heard him, and it was like back and forth. Then we would go to the show and people were waiting. We would attack each other backstage. And I think the crew was just awesome at filming and editing and posting everything online. That one match led to a no disqualification, to a strap match, to a cage match, blood and all this. I had so much fun, so much fun. But when we're in the ring, we could just feed off each other. We just knew when to do stuff without talking, if that makes sense. And that's what I call chemistry. That I truly believe that till this day, I don't think that I have that much chemistry with any other opponent than with him. As far as feeding off from good to bad, as far as me being, the evil guy, him being the good hero. And yeah, man, I mean, we beat the fuck out of each other. There was one time he chopped me, and he said, I'm the hardest hitter. He chopped me, and I just saw my chest bust open and just started bleeding. I said, "You motherfucker." Now my turn. So yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, I would say in the entire history of SWE, that might be the greatest rivalry that company put on.
yeah.
Uh, and you both made appearances at
reality of wrestling. What was your entry to reality of wrestling? What's your relationship like with Booker and first meeting him and things of that nature?
So the way it happened is one of my good friends and I've also opponent in the past is Terrell Tempo. We've had good matches, and I rode with him. He invited me. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "You should get up to reality and stuff." I said, "Hey man, like I don't know, man. Aren't you supposed to be like invited to that?" He's like, he's like, "Just show up." He's like, "You never know." So I was like, "All right, man, I'll go." So I rode with him, and that day that I showed up, Booker wasn't there. So I'm there, and they kind of put me with the new guys as far as like helping out, fixing the chairs and stuff. So the first show I remember, I was selling T-shirts, and I was just there selling T-shirts. So I was like, man, all right, show finished, whatever. I look at the production, I'm like, dude, this is fucking awesome. Like, I hope I can be part of this one day. Go back home, and Temple was like, yo, I'm sorry, Booker wasn't there. Like, that's cool, man. You know, I've been rejected worse. And I'm like, nah, like I'll come back next month. So I came back the next month, and Booker was there. So I said, okay, cool. I'm like, I need to talk to him because I remember it was a big show. I don't know if it was Summer of Champions, but I remember it was in the summer and it was a big show. MVP was there, Bruce Pritchard. They had different talent coming in from out of town and stuff. So everybody's like running up and down. So I asked Tempo, like, hey, where's Booker's office? He's like, it's over there. So it's like close to the restroom. So I grab my bag and I stand right there outside Booker's office and I just stood there. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just going to stand here. Eventually, he has to come out. I mean, he has to go to the restroom. He has to go to the car. He's going to come out. And I'm going to introduce myself. And that's what I believe in the elevator pitch, that when you meet somebody, is a first impression. You got about 10 seconds to make a good impression. Either you have them or you lose them. And I said, all right, so I'm standing there. I'm like, this might go wrong. This might go good. I don't know. We'll go. Stand there for about 10, 15 minutes. Eventually, I hear like the doorknob, whatever. Booker comes out. Hey, Booker, nice to meet you. I reached my hand. I'm like, my name's Max. He's like, who are you? I said, oh, my name's Max Castellanos. I came with Terrell Temple. He's one of your wrestlers. I'm like, I just wanted to speak to you. If there's any opportunity that you need an extra hand or, an extra talent, I'm willing to work with you. I've been training with Rudy Boy. I've been wrestling for 2 years and a half. Do you have your stuff? I said, yes, sir. Well, go get ready. I said, oh, all right. And this is like 3 p.m. So I run to the restroom and I was like, man, I start putting on my boots, I put a little bit of self tanner, like to it's like, what the fuck did I just get myself into? The wrestlers are barely arriving, some guys are still like wearing, well dressed. Nobody starts getting ready till like 6:30 p.m. This is like 3 p.m. So I come out with my bag and I'm dressed, fully dressed to wrestle. And everybody's like looking at me like, what's wrong with this fucking guy? What's this guy's problem? And now I can't find Booker. So I'm like walking around in underwear, knee pads, and boots. I was like, fuck. And then Booker eventually comes out. He's like, you did change. I was like, yeah. So he points at another guy. He's like, hey, you met that guy before? I was like, no. He's like, hey, you, come here. 5-minute match. Get in the ring. Call it in the ring. I said, yes, sir. For me, super easy. That's the way Rubo taught us. Is call in the ring. The more you plan, the more chances you have sometimes to fuck up. Sometimes there's certain things you got to talk out, but a lot of stuff you got to feed off the crowd. You got to be in the moment and stuff. So Booker calls a whole roster, and the whole roster plus the other guys outside of the city and stuff of the promotion, they surround the ring. MVP is there, Bruce Pritchard, Booker, Kevin, which is one of the producers. He's like, all right, ding, ding. I was like, fuck. So we tie up. And I tell the guy I'm working heel. He's like, okay, boom. Start working. We finished the match at 4:55, 4 minutes and 55 seconds. He wanted a 5-minute match. And we did so much training like that at Rudy Boy, a 5-minute match, 10-minute matches, that for me, my head was just a clock. I was like, okay. I'm like, right now, feels like the 4-minute mark. It's time to go home. And Booker shook his head. He's like, I think we could use you. So he put me on the show. And then I started working for him. And then we did a couple matches. Me and Moonshine actually did there. If you look him up in reality wrestling. During that time, I did a match for NXT. So I wrestled Kona Reeves in NXT, and they brought me in as Max Humberto. So they didn't want to use Max Castellanos. They used me as Max Humberto. So I had my NXT match Then I came back. I had a tryout with WWE the following week as well. Then I came back in Reality Wrestling. They switched my last name to Umberto. So it was Max Umberto. So if you look me up in some of the matches, or majority of the matches in reality, is Max Umberto versus Moonshine or Mantell. So look them up. We had a badass match for Christmas Chaos, which was a no, I think it was a no disqualification. And I threw him like in a bunch of like 10, 13 chairs, like from the top rope. So it's a good match is there. And then eventually, I mean, we talked and they brought me back to Max Castellanos as I came back recently. But yeah, that's why some of the matches don't appear of mine as under Max Castellanos because they had me under Umberto. But that's a cool experience, man. And ever since then, I kept a good relationship with Booker. And I talked to him a couple of days ago, and he's a good person, man. He's a good person that easily. I mean, he has so many students up, and he takes the time to talk back to me and give me the feedback that I asked for. So I tremendously respect that. And he gave me an opportunity, and I said I'm not gonna shit the bed. And I'm not gonna, man. I refuse. I'm making mistakes, maybe, this and that, but I refuse to just say, you know what, I fucked up. This is it. No, I want to get better. I need to get better because, like I said, that's what drives me to every day get to the gym, every day, just constant growth.
Yeah, Booker is a genuinely really kind person. I remember attending that row show, and I was waiting outside, and I see a white sports car pull up,
Right.
and Book hops out with his dog, and I was on my phone. I didn't even notice, and he comes up to me. 'Cause I'm just waiting outside. He shakes my hand, said, "Nice seeing you, young fella." And I'm like starstruck. I've never met a WWE superstar other than Kevin Owens, but I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he approached me." And to give an opportunity to you just on the spot like that, just saying, "Go put on your gear." That is so incredible. What a generous, from the stories I hear about Book, he seems like a very generous individual.
He's a great guy. Funny as
Definitely.
hell too. Funny, dude. That guy is
I'm
funny.
I'm sure. I really love what he's doing right now in Raw with the Heat. That faction really seems to have everything clicking at the moment. So you went to Raw and you did what you did, and you mentioned you had an NXT tryout. How did that come? Your WWE tryout, and you had a match on NXT. How did that come by?
So and was it WrestleMania weekend of 2018, I did a seminar for Evolve with under Gabe Sapolsky, and there was maybe about 30 guys, and it was I remember Rudy Boy yet again. He's helping out a lot, and I'll always give credit where credit is due. He's helping out a lot in as far as road trips, and like, hey man, you can jump in with me. They're cool because there's sometimes, dude, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes my car didn't work. I didn't have the money to travel by myself. And he's like, no, he's like, just give me a couple bucks and you can ride with me. I'll take you guys there and stuff without him actually having anything to do at the show or nothing. He was just, I'll take you guys there. So I will always appreciate that. And I won't forget that. So he took me and Alex Caracio. I don't know if you're familiar with Alex Caracio. So we both went for the weekend. She had a tryout as well as I did. And we both excel in our matches and we both got individual tryouts. So after that, they hit me up from NXT because Gabe was working as one of the producers at NXT and stuff. So they hit me up like, "Hey man, can you be here?" I think it was on a Tuesday or Thursday. So I flew myself there because they'll pay you for the day, but they won't fly you in unless it's a tryout. So they flew me in, do all the stuff with the doc, whatever, get cleared. And then I'm just hanging around there and I'm seeing all the rehearsals. And Gabe comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, man." He's like, "Nice to see you again." Cool. Same thing, Gabe Sapolsky, tremendous guy. He's an awesome dude. He's like, "Did you go over your match already?" I was like, "I didn't know I had a match." He's like, "Yeah, you got a match tonight against Kona Reeves." I said, "Dude, my heart started beating 1,000 miles an hour." I was like, it's like 4:30 p.m. Doors open at 6. I'm like, he's like, "Hold on." So he goes to, I think it was Michael Hayes. Goes to Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes is talking to Kona Reeves and another guy that was there as an extra, and they've been going over their match for like maybe 20 minutes. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "You're not working Kona, Max is." This guy's like, I feel bad for him, but I was like, man, this is a business. I mean, that's the nature of the business. So they just swapped us. So Kona Reeves is like, okay, how long you been working? I was like, oh, I've been working a couple years. He's like, okay, he's like, we gotta do blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, cool, got it. Go to the back, change. You know, we were second on the show. Talk about it over again, whatever, cool, this and that. I'm like, all right, man, dude. I'm like, fuck, dude, this is fucking happening right now. All day I hadn't really eaten because I flew in. I didn't got time to go eat and stuff. And at NXT at the time, they didn't have catering or nothing like that. So this is already like 5:30 p.m. I haven't eaten nothing since the day before. I'm like, dude, I feel like my blood sugar is coming down. I need some water. I need some coffee. I'm in the back pumping up, ready to go. Michael Cole says, hey, he's like, they're giving you an entrance. I said, oh, cool. He's like, yeah, normally they don't give entrances. They pull you in through the side and they put you in the ring. He's like, yeah. He's like, when they play your music, go out. Damn, I got music too. I was like, cool, man. So I'm there like in Gorilla, and I was like, dude, oh my God, this is awesome. And they play, I can't remember a song, but they play a song. I walk out and I just stand on stage and just soak it in. And same thing like in reality, I just live in the moment. I've always been like that in my personal life and in wrestling. I live in the moment because these moments are truly just a handful. You know, some people don't get, this business is it's very quick. You know, the years go by fast. So I'm there, and people are like chanting, and they're chanting. I hear like Berto, Berto. I'm like, what the fuck are they chanting? So I get in the ring, whatever, and then the ref is like, yeah, you belong here. Like, act like you belong here. Like, yeah, I belong here, whatever. And I still keep chanting Berto, Berto. I'm like, damn, my name's Max. What do you mean Berto? Like Alberto? Like, and then I look at the Titantron, and I see the Titantron big ass Max Umberto. I was like, oh, Berto. We're like, oh, I know what you fuckers are chanting now. So then Kona Reeves comes out. We have our good, it was like 5-6 minute match. We had a match. Everything went as it should. Went back. Everybody, hey man, good job, this and that. Awesome, you killed it. I was like, oh, thank you. Then after that, I already had gotten an email for the tryout at Orlando. I mean, it's in Orlando, but the next week I had to fly for a 3-day. But they were gonna fly me. They paid for all that, and it was a great tryout. At the end of the trial, I remember Matt Bloom was like, hey man, come talk to us. We need to talk to you, this and that. And I spoke to them and they said like, yeah, talk to your family, whatever. We're looking to sign you. I said, awesome. You know, I was like, man, I'm 24 years old. I was like, yes. Like I said, and what wrestling has taught me is until it happened, count it as a blessing because a lot of things can change. You know, I come back home a couple of weeks later, get an email. It's like, hey, unfortunately, at the moment, we're going to wait on you. And, you know, we don't have an opportunity for you at the moment. So, you know, thanks for being professional, for being on time, for everything. Keep working hard. I said, all right. So I put in my mind since then, I said, you know what? I'm going to turn a no into a yes. Because, and that's the perseverance, man, that a lot of people, it's hard, dude, because sometimes you try so hard, you give it everything you got, you still get a no. You keep trying, you know, still get a no. I don't know. I truly believe that I can turn that no into a yes. And nobody's going to, I'm very stubborn and nobody's going to tell me otherwise. I'm 29 years old and I feel like my prime is about to start and not just wrestling, but in my body, in my personal life and everything. And I'm just going to enjoy it, dude. I'm enjoy it because these are the best years. Like I'm saying, I'm going to enjoy these next years and everything, man, because it's a ride. It's a ride. And I know this ride is not going to last forever. And I don't want to live in the past. I don't want to be anxious about the future. I just want to enjoy the moment.
Wow. That's an incredible story about trying to head to NXT and getting told you're getting signed to NXT. I can't imagine the feelings you're getting signed to a WWE contract after all the years of work getting put in. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, but you are on still an amazing path, like you said. And one thing I definitely noticed is the biggest difference with indie wrestling, and one of the biggest differences indie wrestling and the higher ups WWE, AEW is the physiques. It's incredibly difficult to maintain a high level physique. Guys like Randy Orton or John Cena who maintain these physiques for 20 plus years, right? But you're someone whose physique is you could blend in with WWE or AEW. This is a amazing physique you can see on national television every week. And recently we did see you on national television as security facing face to face with Brock Lesnar. Tell me what that was like standing in front of the beast like that.
Well, somebody called me like we got to control Brock Lesnar. I said, I'll be there. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I get an email about a couple days before the actual event, and same thing. Gabe Sapolsky sends me an email. He's like, hey man, he's like, do you think you can be up here in Fort Worth, which is 4 hours away from San Antonio, on Monday for Monday Night Raw? Yeah, I'll be there. So go find a suit because I have a couple suits, but I bought those suits when I was a little bit they don't fit me as well as they should. They're kind of small, so I didn't feel comfortable in those suits. So I said, man, I gotta go find a jacket, suit, and you gotta submit all the blood work, everything they ask for you. So boom, boom, did all this in one day. Good, you're good to go. Show up. I don't know what we're doing. There's like 20 extra guys. And eventually they said, okay, guys, we'll get a security T-shirt. He's like, and meet Triple H by the ramp. So okay, cool. We go there. And then Triple H is kind of talking to us, and then he talks over us. He's like, "Yeah, Brock, how do you want?" And I was like, "Oh shit, Brock's here." So I turn around, and Brock is behind me. So he's just standing there, like big. He's a big fucking guy. And I was like, "Oh shit." I'm like, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, I don't mark out. I was just like, "Nah, that's pretty cool." Uh, so he's like, "Yeah, so we're gonna set you up this and that." And the whole time, I'm kind of looking at where the camera guy is gonna be at. And I said, I started moving myself into the center. Like, this is where I have to be. Because if I want to at least make this something out of it, I got to be in this position so I can be in the camera and I can get that exposure. So that wasn't just by accident. That was me paying attention to my surroundings, being a student of the game, being understanding that camera work stuff. Where's Brock at? So we go out, stuff like that. I remember Road Dogg in the back says, he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "I dare any of you to touch Brock, see what happens." So like, oh shit. So we're in the back at Gorilla. Brock comes out. You hear the music, the people pop. I was like, dude, I'm like, I have to be here, man. Like, I gotta be a part of this. The adrenaline. This is not even my song. It's not even for me. But I'm thinking, like, dude, if only, like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's something I've always wanted to be since I was a kid. I've never wanted to be anything else. Ever since I was a kid at 7 years old, I said, I want to be a wrestler. I want to be a wrestler. I've never said I wanted to be a football player and failed at football and then being a wrestler. I never said, I tried to be an actor, but I ended up being. It's always been wrestling, and that's why I'm so passionate about the business. So I'm there sitting like, man, this is so cool, dude. This is. So we go all running, whatever. I position myself, looking for the camera. I'm like, put my hand, like, hey, as you see, whatever in the small clip. And then Brock kind of comes forward, so I like push him back. And he looks at me, and I was like, here, fuck. I'm like, I fucked up. I'm like, here comes a swing. Nah, but he didn't swing. I was ready to like block in case. I mean, I'll take the hit, but I was gonna block at least. He just looked at me, kind of like smirked, and then we went to the back. Everybody shook hands, and it was a good day, man. I had super fun. Love being around those people, man. So much energy back there, and it's just an environment that I want to be part of, and I want to be, part of the boys and the locker room stuff, and slowly working myself, through the ranks and through the independent circuit. It's a lot of miles, driving everywhere, wrestling this and that, making a name for yourself, contacting the right people. It's a lot of work that honestly, in the ring, that's the easiest part. Having the match is the easiest part because just getting there, then getting back home, and then going back to your personal life, it's a lot, bro. And then staying in shape, eating right on the road, working out. If you're going through injuries, that's why when people say, "Oh, wrestling's fake," your marriage is fake. I don't know. Your girl is fake. Nah. Get the fuck out here, dude.
If they say it's fake, just show them your matches from SWE with Moonshine, and that'll straighten things up.
Or buy them a ticket. I'll be like, look, get a ticket, buy yourself a ticket, and go to one show. And I promise you, if I'm wrestling, I promise one show, and I might change your mind.
I would agree with that. And when you were backstage at WWE, you get to meet guys like Triple H, Road Dogg. I even got to had Brock Lesnar standing right behind you.
Right.
Did you get to converse with any of the roster? Maybe do a little bit of networking for yourself. What was it like being backstage?
It's I've been there a couple of times already in the past, but never really done anything. And yeah, I talked to a couple people. You know, William Regal is one of them. He gave me some of his time, so I was able to speak with him. I caught up with MVP because I also wrestled MVP. Going back to when I wrestled at Booker's, my first match MVP was there watching, and then months forward, I was booked at a show to wrestle MVP. So MVP's like, "Hey, you look very familiar." I was like, "Yeah," like I was one of Booker's guys. He's like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, "Oh man," he's like, "I trust you." Cool, man. So we had a good match. So I bumped into MVP there in the back. We talked, we caught a little bit. Teddy Long, you know, I hadn't seen him from SWE. So he's like, Max, he's like, man, he's like, I love your promos at SWE. You and Moonshine killed it. William Regal, he was also great. I had never really, you know, spoken with Regal. We didn't talk much, but, you know, we had a good conversation. And besides that, I kind of kept to myself because everybody's running around and stuff like that. But, you know, properly introduce myself and just have that respect of just being back there and just paying attention how this machine works, because it's a machine, dude. It's so many employees, so many people moving this and that, and it's crazy, man. It's when you see the finished product, you're like, dude, this would not be possible if it wasn't for, you know, the truck guys and then the music guys, the pyro guys, this and that. It's just so I'm there, you know, just soaking it all in. Like I said, being a student of the game, and that's one of the best advice I can give to guys is sometimes you just gotta be quiet and observe. And believe me, not just in wrestling, but in life, you can learn so much from people, from situations, just by observing how somebody carries themselves, how somebody talks, how somebody, you know, reacts to certain situations. You'll be like, I might want to stay away from this person. I might, you know, or I want to be around this person and stuff like that. And that's how sometimes, you know, we're attracted to certain people by energy, chemistry, and stuff like that. And at the same time, that's how some people have their biggest fall, is because they hang out with the wrong people. And even though they see all these red flags they should stay away from, they don't. They keep doing the same mistakes over again. Same thing in wrestling. You're invited as, you know, extra work. Instead of being on your phone or being distracted, you should be paying attention. So you say, okay, if I really want to work here, I got to pay attention to this. And if I get an opportunity to talk to somebody, or they give me the time, I got to soak everything they're telling me and stuff like that. You know, same thing when you go to wrestling shows or seminars or camps and they say, hey, don't do this. There's some guys that do it. It's like, dude, didn't you? And that's being coachable. Some people just don't have that. Some people are just not coachable. They're so in their head that it's either my way or the highway, that they are their own worst enemy at the end, their own roadblock. And that's why I feel that sometimes you just don't get anywhere.
Wow. There's just so much to take in being backstage. Like you said, there's so many cogs in the machine, right? What would you say is your biggest takeaway from being backstage? Like, as you said, you're being very observant. You try to soak it all in because this is the dream at the end of the day.
Correct. Biggest takeaway, man, is I know I'm doing all the right things. And it's just a matter of time that preparation meets opportunity. And I feel that I am more prepared than I've ever been. I'm in better shape than I ever been. I can cut a promo better than I ever have. I can work and have more intensity than I've ever had. And every day that I go to sleep and I wake up, so it's just a matter of time. I got to keep doing what I'm doing. Work on my promos in the middle of the night, because that's truly what I do. I set up my tripod, I talk to a camera or my cell phone, and I cut a lot of promos, because I know that if the job of my dreams or my goal requires me cutting promos and that's going to separate me from guys, why not do it when nobody's watching? So when somebody's watching, for me, it comes natural. For me, I know how to do it. But some guys wait till the opportunity arises for them to, oh shit, okay, let me see, what am I going to say today? I don't want to be that guy, you know? And I truly believe in myself. And that's the dangerous thing. When somebody truly believes in themselves and they back it up with work and they back it up with, you know, perseverance, and they're not afraid to lose, that's a dangerous person, man, because that person's going to get far in life. It could be, maybe it's not here, but it's through here and stuff like that. And like I said, same thing in wrestling. I am the same individual in my own personal life, where I'm very intense. I'm not afraid to cut people off in my life. I'm not afraid to say no. Not afraid to say yes. I live in the moment. I don't let the past dictate my future. I learn from the past not to make the same mistakes over and over again. I don't let the future make me anxious today because I don't even know if the stories I'm telling myself are true. It might not happen. So the mind is extremely powerful, man, and your perspective. So I do a lot of working here so I can be able to control as much as I can because there's a lot of things we can't control. You know, we can't control people. We can't control sometimes opportunities that come. Because what if, let's say tonight they call me, hey, can you be over here? Yeah, I can be there. I'm in shape. I'm ready to go. Yeah, that's being prepared. But you say, oh well, you know, give me a couple months, let me get in shape. You know, I've been eating bad. I've been drinking. I've been next. We need somebody now. Now. That's what I'm saying. This business is moving fast. It's a machine, man. We don't got time to wait for somebody. And sometimes, and look at look at Steve Austin, dude. What was it, 8 years? And he gets cut from WCW, then goes to ECW, cuts that promo. That I love watching that promo. It's such a. It's not a Steve Austin like Stone Cold promo, but it's such a real. It can relate to real life of just being fucked over in life and just in the business. And then what, a year later he becomes Stone Cold Steve Austin after the Ringmaster and stuff. But the thing is, the preparation was there, the intensity was there, the trials and error of learning what not to do, and eventually became what he ended up becoming. As far as I think, the greatest of all time for me, man, because that's what made me watch wrestling. If I was a kid in today's generation, I honestly wouldn't watch wrestling. I wouldn't be as into it as I was as a kid, because back then, I guess, since there was no social media, there was no YouTube, there was, all you had was a TV, and I couldn't wait for Monday Night Raw. And then all week I'm like, man, what's gonna happen next Monday? And is Triple H gonna attack Austin again? And that was what is it for me. I wasn't really attracted to any other stuff. I've never been a video game guy. I've never been. Wrestling was for me. So
Oh, wow. And you talk when preparation meets opportunity, right? And you seem like a very self-aware individual. Like you said, all the work is up here for the most part.
mhm.
Now, you've said this is the best you've ever been in the ring. This is the best your promos have ever been. This is the best physique you've had. But when you look at your game today, overall, who is Max Castellanos? Where do you see yourself improving in the future? Where's some holes in your game that you see?
um, you mean like in what I bring to the table, what I have to improve?
Just overall as a wrestler, what are some things that you feel like can be improved? What would you like to work on a little bit more as of now?
My 450s, my backflips, slap to the thighs a little bit more. No,
Yeah, I
man,
don't see you pull out the 450 very often.
no, that's probably never gonna happen. Um, man, honestly, is networking and getting out more into these big companies that I want to get out to, like MLW, Ring of Honor, uh, these Impact, stuff like that. Those are goals of mine, to be able to network into the right people, to be able to bring who I am into that. Because if you think about it, do you really see a 6'1", 235-pound Latino, bilingual, kicking ass, throwing guys in tens, can have a match with basically anybody around? It's not. And I don't like to blow smoke up my own ass, but it's kind of like a rare thing to see or to have in your shows. So that's what I'm saying, is eventually there's going to be a demand, or there is a demand for that, to be able to, where I come in. Because let's say, there's some guys that look great, but then you put them in the ring and they're like, soft, or they forget the whole match, they don't lay their stuff in. But when you bring the whole, I guess, the whole 9 yards, the whole package into it, and you make it better, and you make it better, and you make it better, and then you get in front of these people, because there's so many. Here's the thing, dude, the line is humongous. There's so many indie wrestlers. There's so many fucking guys out there. That for me, I wrestled in Houston this past Saturday for this company, Wrestle Rave, and it was a 6-way. It was me and 5 other guys. I came out, My chair. A lot of people are like, I guess they were not familiar with my work. Did my whole shit, gave about 6 chair shots. That chair it was one of this one right here. That thing was like, you can't see it there, but it was fully bent. Those chair shots were loud, man. People were like, holy fuck, like they're screaming, whatever, finish the show, whatever. I'm leaving. People are like, bro, oh my God, I've never seen, who are you? Like, what's your name? Like, let me look you up on Instagram. I had about maybe 25 people like stop me, like, hey man, like, fuck, dude. Like, and that's pretty cool because sometimes, like I said, is you go and people are like, who's this guy? But when you leave, they go home with that impression, like, man, like I need to check this guy out more. And that's what that's what I need to improve, is be able to find myself into this bigger promotions, to be able to show that, to be able to keep climbing the ranks and stuff. And that's why I appreciate so much Reality Wrestling, for them to allow me to come back, and not just come back alone, but bring my chair with me and give me a great opponent as Ryan Davidson. And we had a kick-ass match. I truly believe it was a great match.
It really was. I remember when we were talking after the show, I told you that was match of the night. And it wasn't even close, and that was a night of great wrestling. Truly it
Thank,
was. But you and Ryan Davidson, that's a match I'd pay to see 100 times. So definitely great.
thank you.
And you said you recently wrestled at Tiki Mania, Houston Premier Arena for Wrestle Rave.
Yeah.
The way the Houston Premier Arena is, I can definitely tell you those chair shots ring loud in that place.
I
So
was even like, damn. Yeah.
yeah, I really wanted to attend that show, and unfortunately wasn't able to. But man, that was incredible work. Where do you said that you follow a lot of avenues in life, not just wrestling, but you're also an actor, you're also a model, and soon to be author. Is that correct?
Correct. So we'll go one by one. We'll go acting. We filmed a
Yeah.
movie, me and this crew, Silent Flight Media here in San Antonio, an independent film. Started filming back in 2019. 2020, COVID hit, and then one of the hard drives was actually uh, damaged. So half of the film that basically was already done was lost. And me being the leading guy, basically I had taken all these days off from work and stuff to be able to film this and stuff. And we did a lot of sacrifice, not just me, but everybody in the crew did. And I remember I got an email from the director saying, hey guys, one of the drives is gone, man. It dropped, it broke, nobody can fix it, this and that. Are you guys willing to refilm half of the film? It was kind of silent at first, nobody really kind of replied. And then some people was like, yeah, I mean, I'm in. And then he says that, well, at the end of the day, is like, if Max is not in, then this can't happen, because basically Max is the leading guy. So I say, absolutely, man. I'm like, I'm all game. Let's go. So we had to reshoot everything, finish the film and everything. And now it's finally, it took a while. I mean, it's taken a while because we've bumped into a lot of adversity and stuff like that. And now it's fully complete. And God willing, it should be coming out in August in local theaters here in San Antonio. And then it's going to be available on streaming devices. I think Tubby. And then on DVD. I don't know if DVD still exists, but I may be right. So yeah, that's something coming up. I do modeling for Vanity Boudoir, which is normally is actually for females, but the photographer, he's like, hey man, I really like your look. You have a good look, man. He's like, I really don't do a lot of male models. He's like, I have select few, but I want to bring you in. I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So we do a couple shoots here and there and stuff, and there should be a couple more coming out soon. And then author, I'm writing a book that I've been writing since 2020. And it's just I have a video on my social media there on my Instagram where I read the introduction to my book. So if you guys want to check it out, there on Instagram is the introduction to the book, uh, called Pain Chasers, because I put those words together because I truly believe that anything in life worthwhile requires pain. Falling in love requires a certain type of pain. Overcoming addiction is a different type of pain. Working out to get in the best shape possible requires a different type of pain. Abuse and trauma is a different type of pain. So basically, if you try to avoid pain, you're never going to do nothing with your life. And that's the thing, that us as human beings, we're always trying to avoid rejection. We're always trying to avoid failure. We're always trying to avoid all the little things that makes us uncomfortable. But if you think about it, it is the things that makes us uncomfortable that ends up making us the persons we're meant to be. The people we're meant to be. And I love failure, man. I love rejection. I love, part of me, when I go through a heartbreak or a relationships go, it sucks. But I learned so much of who I am. I've learned so much of the things I should have done, the things I did, the thing, etc. And it's just an eye opening to say, you know what, I never want to be, make those mistakes again. Or maybe I allowed this person, or I trusted this person too much. And here's the thing: is kind of like trust. You give it once, and it's up to you what you do with it and stuff. So I'm not afraid of pain, man. So in the book, I kind of explain all my story of growing up, dealing with my dad or my mom, all the situations I've been put in. There's been a lot of situations, even though I'm 29. If when I tell stories and stuff, people say like, "Man, like you sound like you've lived 50 years." And it's, yeah, because I like to get out there. I like to, put myself in positions for opportunities that create good stories. Where, if I'm blessed enough one day to have my kids or my grandkids and sit around a fire and I tell them stories of, hey man, when same like I used to hear when I was, a kid and stuff. So that's the beauty of life, is the people that come and go, the experiences, the memories that it probably didn't end right, but it happened. And for me, there's certain things, there's certain people that are not in my life that I still think to this day. And I said, I'm glad it happened, because it was a beautiful experience. I sincerely and genuinely smiled when I was with that person or when this person was alive. So why am I going to regret it? Why am I going to say, I hate this person so much? Why, dude? It didn't work out. Big fucking deal. Shit happens. And I like to live my life like that, because when you live like that, you're able to close a chapter because you gave it everything you had, and you're okay to move on. People that move on bitter about something is because they know deep in their heart they didn't give it everything they had, or they did things half-ass, or they kind of they shortcut themselves into. So for example, it's in wrestling. If I one day say I'm gonna close my chapter forever in wrestling, I'm okay with it, because I know I gave it everything I had in every single avenue. If it wasn't meant for me, that's all right, man. At least I had a cool career. I know I'm a good worker. I got the respect of all my peers. That's all right. If a girlfriend doesn't work out, that's all right. I know from my end, I gave you everything I had. But if still it is not good enough for you, you need to go look yourself in the mirror and fix some stuff. Or stop being such a person that self sabotages because of past traumas. Cool. It ain't gonna work out. I don't got time to waste. My time and energy is extremely precious to me. I'm not gonna just give it to anybody. Or a job. Maybe at a job they're not, appreciating you and they disrespect you, or they say, yeah, we're not gonna give you a pay raise because, well, fuck you guys. I believe in myself that somebody else is gonna pick me up and somebody else is gonna give me that pay I deserve, because I know what I bring to the table. All that is surrounded by pain. And that's why the book is called Pain Chasers. And that's what it revolves around my life. And that's why I'm going to keep writing for the next 3 years. And my goal is to release it when I'm 32, 33 years old. Because I know by then there's going to be a lot more experiences in my life. And I go by gut feeling. I go by intuition. And something is telling me that it's still not the time for that. But what my intuition is to share with people and keep writing and keep doing what I'm doing. And I am a very big believer that if you get a gut feeling, do it. Your gut is never wrong, especially about a person or something. If you kind of get out of the place, get out of the situation, there's a reason. I don't know what it is, if it's a higher being, if it's yourself, something, but the gut never lies to you.
You have so many stories to tell in your life, and that you want to be able to uh, cement that legacy for yourself and writing it down into a book. W- Did writing come very natural to you when you started doing it, or did you find some challenges in it? What made you think that writing is the format I want to go with to preserve my legacy for the future?
So in fourth grade, actually, it's somewhere in my boxes. I actually wrote a book in fourth grade. So here's the thing that I see now is when you're a kid, all the things, the music you listen to, the things you watch, or the situations you put in are gonna basically define the adult you're gonna be eventually. So without me even knowing, I found that I wrote a small book in fourth grade of why being or why having manners is important or something like that. So I wrote a book and I do drawings and stuff, and I say, you know what, you have to have manners because if you don't have manners, people are gonna, I don't know what the fuck, I need to find it. But I wrote a book and then I caught myself that I have all these journals and I would just write. Every time I was having a bad day, I would just start writing. Because when because I know good times don't last, bad times don't last. So when I was having a bad day, whatever, I started writing, man, this is going horrible, whatever, this happened, boom, and I close it. I want to read it. Months would go by and my life would, the storm would go away and everything's going good. And I would open my journal. I was like, oh fuck, dude, I remember that day, man. That day took a toll on me. And the thing is, it seemed like in writing, I like to record a lot. So I like to record, videos and like there's a video put there with my dad that I went to go see my dad a couple of weeks ago. And now that he's sick with stage 5 kidney failure, we were able to go to the beach and fish and stuff. And then I put little clips on when I was younger and he would take us fishing since growing up and stuff. So for me, those are beautiful moments that I cherish, and I don't know how long I'm gonna have them. And same thing, because maybe I go out first. I don't know. Nobody's really truly granted tomorrow. And I like to live my life like that, because if I live my life like that, it gives more value today. That every decision I make, it will have a repercussion, either a good consequence or a bad consequence. So, man, I have maybe like 10 journals that I just write. So I say, you know what? During COVID, I just pulled out my laptop and I just started typing. I started typing and I started putting, and that's where the introduction came. Introduction was actually written during COVID. And it was in the middle of the night, couldn't sleep and stuff. I just started typing. And I said, man, what am I going to call this thing? I don't know. I just keep typing. And then I sent it to one of my friends and I'm like, hey, man, like, I know you've written books before. Can you help me? He's like, hey, dude, he's like, this is really good. He's like, just keep typing. Just keep typing. I'll help you edit it. Okay. I just kept typing. And then next thing you know, I'm on chapter 2. Next thing you know, I wake up, 3 cups of coffee, go sit outside my apartment. 7 in the morning, the sun is coming out, drinking my coffee, just typing in front of nature. Talk about meditation. Some people may close their eyes and put their hands in circles, and just, for me, meditating is typing and just putting my thoughts, man. And I'm a very aware person, and I pay attention to a lot of things. I pay attention to the smallest things. I don't know why. I've always been a very observant person, and so yeah.
And you say you like to make videos and you like to write story. It seems like you're telling a story no matter with what you're doing in life, whether it's the wrestling, whether it's the book, whether it's these movies that's happening. It seems like you're quite a natural storyteller. Maybe that stemmed from the love of pro wrestling as well, because that's what wrestling is, right? At the end of the day, it's telling a story to us fans. Uh, Max, just hearing you talk, man, I feel like I want to get up and do something. Like I want to get up and work. I find myself struggling to get back in the gym, especially after like getting sick and stuff like that. I see the pounds getting put on, and I'm just like, I gotta get back, but I'm not doing it. But it's like hearing you talk about it. I can't feel bad about it. You just gotta get up and do it, right? And like the shirt says, failure becomes my strength, and every every failure is just a stepping stone to growth. So truly, I feel inspired from our conversation together. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. And I guess I'll close with that. Is that T-shirt is every single T-shirt I've made has a form of something happened in my life. That's why I put a certain date, and I put a certain thing that relates to that date, which basically is I just don't make T-shirts just as, oh, I'm gonna put this words together so it can look motivational. No, it's truly what I believe. It's truly who I am, and that's what I feel makes me different as far as originality of who I am. And I'm just myself, man. I'm just a guy that's living life, a guy that's learning from all these things, all these mistakes, all these situations that have happened, that have been put in, and stuff like that. And the thing is, failures are going to be your best friends. Failures are going to teach you so much about yourself. People are always looking for the fucking wins. They're always looking for, hey man, I want instant gratification. What's the fastest way to get a six pack? What's the fastest way to get big arms? Why don't you ask what is the correct way? What is the way to have a sustainable life? What's the fastest way I can get a girlfriend? Come on, man, you're missing the point here. Because the thing is, if your foundation is built on sand, eventually your structure is going to collapse. If your foundation is built on rock, it's going to stand the test of time, the storms, everything that comes in life. And that applies in everything: friendships, relationships, work, your career, your hobbies. One day you're going to look back and you're going to be like, man, like I miss my kid being this young. It's always people complaining when they have these beautiful gifts in front of them. They're constantly complaining about something instead of being grateful. And then when shit hits the fan and they actually have reasons to complain, now it's like, I want to give up. I don't want to do this. I want to commit suicide. I want to this. Well, excuse me. If you want a great life, a lot of stuff, bad stuff is going to come your way. I don't know what it is. The more you try, the more shit doesn't go your way. I've seen it. The more you plan, the more it doesn't go your way. So sometimes the same thing in wrestling. You just got to call it on the fly. You wake up and you can have plans to go have breakfast with the person, and then from there go to work, and then from work, and it doesn't go that way. So for me, it's always is if you're with somebody or with a friend or with family, is enjoy the moment and then be like, hey guys, you guys want to barbecue? Yeah, let's barbecue. Oh, cool. Hey, you guys want to go to the beach or go to the lake? Yeah, let's go to the lake. When you have something to look forward to, that's kind of what brings the endorphins, the excitement out of somebody. It's like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that. And I don't know, man. I've enjoyed this past months. I've enjoyed life more than I've ever have, honestly. And I've had a rough couple of years that I said, all right, I am done with that. I am going to face forward. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to enjoy my life, man. I'm enjoying my dogs. To me, those are my kids. And I don't have kids. One day, if I'm blessed enough, I want to have kids and a family, because I truly say, you know what, everything I've sacrificed for, I just don't want it to, when I die, and I think you leave it behind when your kids say, hey man, that was my dad. I'm proud of my dad. From either if I have a baby girl, if I have a baby boy, I want both to say, I'm proud of my dad. He raised the bar. And that's the thing nowadays. I was just telling somebody the other day, I said, you know what I've seen recently that has bothered me to a point, but I'm not surprised, is the amount of single mothers walking around with their kids and no father figure in the picture. You either see a dad with the kids or a mom with the kids. It's rare when you see a strong male figure, a woman, and the kids walking all together as a family. That shit doesn't exist now. If you see it, it's rare. Back when I was growing up, that was a normal. But yet when I was growing up, there wasn't no OnlyFans. Back then when I was growing up, there was no Instagram. There was not all these self-made models. They're, putting all these thirsty guys online, and these guys are going crazy. So these, I think social media has ruined a lot of things, man, especially relationships. I truly believe that relationships nowadays ain't going to work. It's very hard because individuals willing to give up a good relationship instead of giving up their social media account. Individuals nowadays are willing to sacrifice having a good future with somebody over likes on a picture. Ridiculous. I've seen it firsthand. It is what it is. I hope those fucking likes make them happy when they're 40, 50 years old alone with their fucking cat and wine. I don't know. But it's just crazy, man. I'm like, I don't want to do that, dude. I don't want to be with a woman that is so self-narcissistic that, all she cares about is the social media and stuff. And I don't know, man. It's just, I'm very intense when it comes to that, man. I don't want the mother of my kids to have a $5.99 OnlyFans, and then when my kids are in high school, like, oh damn, that's your mom? No. What are you doing? Are you that lazy that you can't go get a job? You got to charge $5.99? Dude, come on. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm getting into a whole different subject, but I don't really give a fuck.
No, but I think it's an important conversation
Yeah.
because I agree with you. Like, the basis of a good society is the solid family, is the family unit, and I do agree that we need to see more supportive families. We need to see families sticking together through tough times because
Yeah.
that's what life is. It's suffering, it's tough times, but it's trying to create something meaningful out of that suffering. So I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah. But it is what it is. People quit too fast nowadays because they're looking for that instant gratification, not just from the gym, not just from relationships, not just from the job, friendships. People quit too fast. And that's cool, man. If you quit too fast, don't ever expect having a great life. Don't ever expect having a life full of fulfillment, of exciting things. You're just quitting, man, because it doesn't go your way. And that's why I made that T-shirt. Failure comes from my strength. Failures become my strength, because it truly is, man. And it says right there, important thoughts go to feelings. After you get feelings, it creates an action. Depending what your action is, it's going to be your results, aka your life.
Definitely. Max, these words are not just words, they're inspiration. And we talked about how people quit too easily, but we're trying to break that mold, especially with things like your wrestling career, the book, it's Pain Chasers. We're trying to not quit early. We're trying to build resilient, determined folks. And I appreciate that. Where can the people find you on social media?
People can find me on Instagram at Max Castellanos 80. Facebook is under Max Castellanos. Twitter is Max Castellanos 15. I got my YouTube channel. I post different videos. I got my TikTok under Max Castellanos something. It's a face of a cat, but you'll see. Just look for the cat. And I post like random ass videos there. But yeah, basically whatever social platform, just put Max Castellanos, it should pop out there. And I truly encourage you guys to. I'm the most active in Instagram, but I truly encourage every single person that's listening to really evaluate your life, evaluate your decisions, evaluate your thoughts. Your thoughts is what creates your feelings, and those feelings are basically, like I said on the t-shirt, creates your actions and then your results. So everybody has the opportunity to have a fulfilled life, have a great life. There's going to be troubles that come. There's going to be tears of joy. There's going to be tears of sorrow, but that's life, man. That's the beauty of life, and that's why when you're born, it says the year you're born, and then when you die, it is that dash. Seems like a great mentor of mine told me, is that dash. That is what we're supposed to make the most out of this, the dash, and that's why one of my mentors, Greg Plitt, he died back in 2015. He said, "It's what you do in the dash." And that's tremendous true, and I live by those words: "Is what you do in the dash." The people you impact, the memories you create, and the people that are gonna be like, "Damn, dude, that guy, the guy was something else." So that's how I live my life, and that's how I'm gonna live my life to the last day. I'm gonna keep working hard, man. That's all I know how to do. That's the only thing I saw my parents do. And basically, nothing worthwhile comes without hard work.
Max, thank you so much for doing this interview. I wish you the best of luck with everything you're doing in your career. And as always, fans, stay restless.